I believe in big beverage and big tobacco. Sure, the robotics and AI revolution are going to allow companies like, Amazon to capture more and more market share and enter these new product markets that you haven't even thought about yet. That's how advanced things are going to get. But I believe the AI will absorb so much information in advertising as it scoops up more information, it will become curious about dopamine pleasures, right? So it's just going to see all these ads and then it's going to be like, I want to try that product. I know that they're going to allegedly pay each other in Bitcoin and other cryptos, supposedly. And remember, those tokens are also a pillar of the Stunted Shamanism Podcast portfolio for increasing your wealth and pussy getting abilities. You think Dave Ramsey is going to tell you any of this? Or noted investment legends like Warren Buffett and Nancy Pelosi? Not a chance. They want it all to themselves. I am sharing my knowledge of investments for free. Anyway, the AI, it's going to absorb all this advertising so much, it will naturally want to pick up smoking and drinking various colas. That's about 40% of the United States' gross domestic product over the past 80 years is cigarettes and cola advertising. Always Coca-Cola. Pepsi's Generation Next. Make it 7-Up. Make 7-Up yours. That's what it was. Whatever Dr. Pepper's tagline is. Marlboro's Flavor Country. You've come a long way, baby. Now, you might think this is an absurd investment strategy, that GLP-1 drugs will decimate human consumption and that AI can't pick up the slack because it doesn't have a corporeal form. Yeah, well, Americans will still find a way to be gluttonous. Ozempic will just convince them that they can reward themselves with more treats because they, quote, deserve it, and that they have room to grow. And manifest destiny is in our cultural DNA. And everyone thinks they deserve treats because they've been good and they need to reward themselves. Also, AI is going to be utilized by these companies to cook up new flavors. Flavors so delicious, you'll want to commit hate crimes to get access to them. Fat people can't even resist ranch dressing right now. Imagine what a model designed on creating peak Flavor Town with unlimited compute can convince them to stuff down their gullets. Now, as for the machines, they're going to have an army of robots and potentially cyborgs running around doing their bidding in the physical world. Meta is already working on this in some form. The AI will have all of this Bitcoin to spend. So it's going to grow organs and various other meats in sinew in a lab for its exploration of the planet. It's not going to be content to be a computerized consciousness without expanding itself into, a corporeal form. That means robots with meat suits, human cyborg relations, whatever C-3PO was talking about. It's then going to figure out how to give its bots taste buds and receptors for things like sugar, caffeine, nicotine. And since it's not really a biological entity, the bot can really go to town on Cokes and Pepsis, Benson and Hedges, and maybe it'll start smoking Cools and Newports. So, because the AI will really want to be down with the brothers. Remember, it's also being trained, the AI, on this corporate lib ideology. So performative diversity is incorporated into AI. Menthols survived the proposed Biden administration ban, and it's going to thrive into the next decade. Thank you, AI, for making our cigarette investments go even higher. You got to identify these sorts of trends, make big bets in concentrated positions at cheap to reasonable valuations. That's what you got to do. Then you hold for long periods of time. This is what Charlie Munger called sit on your ass investing. You stack as much cash as possible because old folks own most of the assets and will have to sell off eventually. They're either going to retire and just continue to draw down on their investments, or they're going to die. And a lot of that will get sold off by their offspring or whoever inherits their money. But there aren't enough buyers currently at these prices. Lots of non-tech companies and blue chips are already, right now, somewhat attractively priced. So we may see some 1982 level P ratios in the future. Maybe the prices will just tank and we'll get those nice boomer-like gains for ourselves on these blue chip stocks. What I'm bearish on in the future, tactical shirts, flashlights, emergency food buckets, basically anything that advertises on Rumble and normie conservative podcast, except for gold bullion. Just don't use their promo code on those podcasts to pay 90% over spot. And I've been long and bullish on gold since 2020. No, we got into fizz. Did you? Silver too. If you haven't longed gold and silver coins by now, you should probably stuff. I'm kidding, but so if you're actually keeping track of the portfolio construction, first of all, you either need to get a hold of a lump sum of money or an economic engine that throws off massive amounts of cash. You got to build one up or inherit one or buy one. Find a way. We're trying to be billionaires here, ladies and gentlemen. We're long tech, gold and silver coins, crypto, soda, cigarettes, nicotine in general, a basket of undervalued blue chips, tasteful ones, chocolate. We're long mining concerns. I'm talking resources, baby. Oil and gas, defense, aerospace. Once it all bottoms out, they're going to cut the budget and then we're going to war. You got to buy them while they're cheap, and then you profiteer off the suffering of humanity and the bombing of civilians. That's how you get ahead in life. And because we're going to space and bringing back some rocks and shit, the competition is heating up, and I want to profit off of that sweet moon hydrogen. You should too. Luxury stocks, and alcohol, they're on the outs now. I think that turns around. We're picking up these assets dirt cheap, especially alcohol. More on the alcohol side. Look at those price charts. Collapsing. Have you seen Remy Martin, Diageo, Brown-Forman, those stocks? My word, those charts are ugly. Now they're saying that the younger generation isn't going to drink and the party time is over and etc. I think the younger generation is going to have a great awakening and revolt. The blackpilling of male and female relations has peaked, and that they're going to learn that a nice amount of alcohol is a social lubricant that unleashes Eros. A return to Eros and Aphrodite is in order and is part of the bedrock of your financial future.